What's going on, everyone? This is Jag Central, and I hope you're all doing well. It's game week, guys, and we're days away before the Jacksonville Jaguars season kicks off. And what we're going to be doing today is going to be going through the Jaguars schedule and predicting some wins and losses for the 2025 season. But before we get into the schedule, I just want to do a breakdown of the schedule and just see how the schedule looks. So the Jacksonville Jaguars have 8 home games at the Everbank Stadium, 8 away and 1 in London. The one in London is our designated home game. So technically we have 9 home games and 8 away games, but one of them is going to be in London. The last 2 seasons, the Jags have had 2 games in London in the last 2 seasons. This season only 1, but with the renovations going around in the Everbank Stadium for the next few seasons, the Jags are going to be having more and more games in London. I think next year is probably going to be 2, and the year after is going to be 3, and I think the year after that potentially 4 in London. So for me, that bodes quite well because I'm going to be seeing the Jaguars more often. We have the AFC West this year, so we're going to be having the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos. And then we also have the NFC West, so a lot of West Coast trips for the Jags. So this will be the Seahawks, the Rams, the 49ers, and the Arizona Cardinals. And then we also have a third place schedule because of where we finished, and those teams are going to be made out of the Jets, the Bengals, and the Panthers. And the Jags this year only have 1 primetime game. Last year they had 2 primetime games. They actually had 1 primetime game, but coming into the season we had 2. But because of how bad we started, we would just basically flex out of the primetime game against the Eagles. I think it was a week 9 game or something, and then we would just put back to the late kickoff. But this year we have 1 primetime game. It's going to be in week 5, so hopefully there's no flexing out. I'm not sure exactly when you can start flexing games out. It could be from week 5, week 6 or something like that. But we have the Kansas City Chiefs on a Monday night, and it's going to be a big game. But yeah, happy to see the Jags have a primetime game. Looking at the 2024 records for the team that we're going to be playing, so they had a record of 135 to 154, which gives them a 47% win percentage. I can't remember exactly, but I think we have the 24th strength of schedule. So that means that we have the 24th hardest schedule in the league. So it's not the worst. So it's one of the better schedules that you can have. The strength of schedule, if anybody doesn't know, is made out of basically the records of the teams that you're going to be facing. So the records that they had last season, and that's how the strength of schedule is made up. Last season, I think we had like maybe the 4th, 5th strength of schedule. So we had a very, very tough schedule. But then it didn't really help the way we played last season. But hopefully this season with a hopefully easier schedule, that we potentially get more wins. We're going to be playing 5 playoff teams, so we're going to have 6 games against playoff teams. So the Texans are we're playing them twice, so technically we're going to have 6 games against playoff teams, but we're playing 5 unique playoff teams. But on the next few slides, we'll be able to see who those playoff teams are. So what I have done is broken this down into first quarter. So I just got this idea from UCF Jaguar, who did something similar last year, and I thought, great idea, so I might as well do something similar. So the easiest thing to do is just break up the season into four quarters. So week 1, we got the Carolina Panthers at home at the Everbank. I really think this is a one of our easier opponents. The Panthers have been a very, very bad team over the past few years. Bryce Young ended the season quite well last season, and this is a type of game that I think the Jaguars should be winning. Week 1, I feel like Trevor Lawrence and the Jags had a really good preseason. Trevor Lawrence looked really good. We've got a new offensive coordinator, new head coach who's an offensive guru. So hopefully this is a game that we can just go in, win week 1, and set the season quite well. Week 2, we've got the Cincinnati Bengals. What I'll do is I'll just show all 4 of the schedules and also the 2024 records. So in the first 4 weeks, the teams that we're playing have a 44 win percentage, and that's basically one playoff team, which is the Texans. But technically, I really think this is a pretty tough start to the season, because the Cincinnati Bengals last season started off really poorly, which is why they didn't make the playoffs, but ended the season really, really strong. I think they ended the season either on a 5-0 run or 5-1 run, but the defense is what let them down last season, and they were one of the best offensive teams last season. Joe Burrow was definitely an MVP candidate with Jamar Chase, so I definitely think that week 2 is going to be a very, very tough game against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think this is going to be a loss in Cincy as well. So at week 2 we've got a 1-win record. Week 3 at home against the Houston Texans. Last season, even though we were really, really bad, I really think that we played this Texans really, really tough, and I definitely think we'll split the games against the Texans, and I think we'll win the game at home against the Texans. In week 4, we got the San Francisco 49ers. This is a team that, even though they aren't a playoff team as well, and the records say for these 4 teams, they weren't good apart from the Texans, but the San Francisco 49ers had a lot of injuries last season, and whenever they have a bad season, they always follow it up with an amazing season. So the San Francisco 49ers are not going to be a rollover, especially going to play them in San Francisco. It's going to be a very, very tough game. And with Kyle Shanahan, who's an amazing head coach, and his teams are always good. And whenever they're bad, it's mainly because he doesn't have his players and they're injured. So for me, in the first quarter, I feel like the Jags come out of this with a 2-2 record. So they beat the Panthers, lose to the Bengals, beat the Texans, and lose to the San Francisco 49ers. So going into the second quarter, this is where we have our primetime game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And we also have our bye week in this as well. So week 5, we play the Kansas City Chiefs in a Monday night game. This is a game where I think, even though it's at home in Jacksonville, I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars might lose this game, because we've played the Kansas City Chiefs really tough over the last few years, but we just haven't got it over the line against Kansas City Chiefs. And I feel like in a game where it's Monday night prime time, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, especially having an extra day, I feel like this is a game where the Kansas City Chiefs win. But going into week 6, I feel like we go and beat the Seattle Seahawks in Jacksonville, and then before that, just after then, we go straight to London to play the Los Angeles Rams at Wembley Stadium, a game that I'm going to be at. So keep an eye on any vlogs that I'm going to be putting out for that week. Week 8, we have the bye. I'm not sure whether I said we'll beat the Los Angeles Rams, because I feel like whenever the Jags go to London, we just always manage to win. I know last year we lost to the Bears, but the year before that, we won both our games against the Buffalo Bills, and the game before that was against the Denver Broncos, I think it was. But the Jags have a very, very good record in London, so I feel like we go into week 7, beat the Rams, go into week 8 with our bye week. Surprisingly, this year the Jags are taking their bye week after they come back from London. Last 2 seasons they haven't. They've waited. Not waited, but just refused to take their bye week after the London games. This year, they're taking a bye week. And then week 9, we're playing the Raiders in Vegas. I think this is another game that we go and win as well, especially being after the bye week. So the Jags in the second quarter, I feel like they go 3-1. So losing to the Chiefs and beating the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Raiders. At this moment, the Jags are going to have a 5-4 record. And the third quarter, this is kind of when it starts getting to the business end of the season. So these teams have a losing record, but there's 2 playoff teams in here. which is the Texans and the Chargers. And the Arizona Cardinals are a team who were really good last season but just didn't make the playoffs. And the Titans are a team that we beat, that didn't allow us to basically get the number one pick. So essentially, us beating them got them the number one pick. Going into week 8 at Houston, like I said, I feel like we're going to split the games against the Texans, so it'll be a 1-1 record. So I think this is the game we lose in Houston. The Chargers. This is a game where I think that we can definitely win, but with Harbaugh as the coach. And yeah, last season the Chargers looked like a very solid unit. So this is a game where I think we'll drop and the Chargers win this game. But I think we go straight into Arizona, beat the Cardinals, and then go straight into Tennessee and beat the Titans as well. So I think this is the third quarter where we get a 2-2 record. So this puts the Jaguars with a 7-6 record. And then this is now the fourth quarter, and this is where we start getting into where we need to basically, like, if we want to go into the playoffs and win the AFC South, I feel like this is where it's going to be done. So the teams that we're facing, so in terms of strength of schedule, this is the easiest strength of schedule part of the season for us. So we've got the Colts twice, we've got the Tennessee Titans, we've got the Denver Broncos, and we've got the New York Jets. Week 14, I feel like we go into Indianapolis. I think we win. Not into Indianapolis, but they come into our place and we beat them. I feel like we beat the Jets as well. And then I feel like we kind of go into Denver and probably lose that game because the Denver Broncos are a really good team. Last year, they looked like a really solid unit as well. I know they went into the playoffs and didn't really play well, but during the season, they were a very tough outfit to beat. So I feel like playing in that altitude as well in Denver, I think it will be a game that we lose, especially coming off a 4-game win streak, because at that time I'm having us winning in week 12, week 13, week 14 and week 15. And you know how it is in the NFL. It's very difficult to basically win games. So winning 5 on a trot will be very difficult. I feel like we go into Indianapolis and lose in Indy. And I feel like that's another game that we probably drop because I can't remember the last time we won in Indianapolis. Did we win there last year? I can't remember whether we won there last year or not. But yeah, and then we got week 18, we got the Tennessee Titans. And I feel like this is a game where it's basically for the AFC South title against the Texans. And I feel like we go and beat Tennessee. And yeah, the Jags on this stretch have a 3-2 record, which gives them a 10-7 record at the end of the season. We are the AFC champs, and we make the playoffs. So let me know what you guys think in terms of like the records that I've gone for, 10-7. To be honest, when I started this, going through the schedule, looking at the schedule before actually thinking about it and speaking about it, I thought that we'd probably get 12 wins. But then there are some tough games, and not every game in the NFL is a gimme. I think last year I predicted us to win 12 games, even though we had like a top 5 or top 6 strength of schedule. So I definitely think that we would make the playoffs. It would be tough, but 10-7, I feel like in Liam Cohen's first season is definitely doable. I don't think that's a ceiling. I think the ceiling is probably 12 wins, but then at the same time, the lower limit could be 9 wins, and 9 wins could get us into the playoffs. But usually getting double-digit wins is what gets you into the playoffs, and I feel like that should be also enough for us to win the AFC South title and have a home playoff game in Jacksonville. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and please don't forget to comment what your records are, whether you think we're going to get 10 wins, whether we're going to get into the playoffs, whether you think we're not going to get into it, whether you think we're going to go 17-0. Let me know what you guys think. And if you guys like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and also just don't forget to subscribe, and also just don't forget to comment. It really helps with the algorithm. I really want this video and my future videos and the videos I've already posted to go in front of more and more Jags fans. But really appreciate this, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.